Get ready for the lunar eclipse of the century. Space.com reports the longest lunar eclipse of this century is expected to take place on July 27th for about 1 hour and 43 minutes. NASA reports the Earth's shadow is made from 3 different parts, the outer part known as the penumbra, the central part known as the umbra, and the antumbra, which is beyond the penumbra and umbra. The moon will reportedly turn a ruddy brown color when it enters the umbra. The entire event, from start to finish, will take about 4 hours. This month's moon will be at its apogee, which is the farthest possible distance from Earth. However, when the moon is at its nearest to Earth, it is called a perigee. According to Space.com, the blood moon will be visible in most places except in North America. More stories related to the moon. China goes to the dark side. China has deployed a relay satellite that's meant to bridge communication between Earth and a planned exploration on the far side of the moon. Xinhua news agency reports Chiao, or Magpie Bridge, is named after a Chinese folklore in which magpies form a bridge to enable 2 star-crossed lovers to meet for one day. The Chiao satellite features a dish antenna and 2 solar arrays and was launched atop a Long March 4C rocket from southwest China on Sunday morning. Chiao is expected to enter a halo orbit around the second Lagrangian point and would be the world's first communication satellite operating in that orbit. Its main purpose is to establish a communication link between Chinese Mission Control and the yet-to-be-launched Chang'e 4 mission that will explore the moon's dark side. The Chang'e lunar rover and lander is currently scheduled for December 2018 launch. Chiao is also equipped with the Netherlands-China Low-Frequency Explorer, a radio scanner that will search for ancient radio signals dating back to the early universe. The reason the satellite is able to do this is because it would be in the shadow of the moon, completely unaffected by Earth's interference. Long day. New research shows that days on Earth are getting longer as the moon slowly spirals away from us. Due to gravitational forces between Earth and its satellite, the moon moves away at a rate of 3.82 centimeters per year, causing our planet's rotation to slow. According to NASA, Earth currently completes a full rotation on its axis every 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. But researchers using astrochronology on geological rock layers found that when the moon was closer to Earth 1.4 billion years ago, a day was just over 18 hours. The length of a day has grown 1/75,000th of a second on average per year and is expected to continue at this rate for the next millions or billions of years. The moon will eventually stop moving when it reaches a stable distance from Earth. When this happens, the two will be tidally locked, rotating at the same pace, with the moon visible from only one side of Earth. Of course, that's assuming either of them survive the sun's destructive red giant phase. Anybody up for some lunar cave diving? Scientists this week may have come across something that could lead to the first ever human outpost in space. A large and cavernous lava tube was this week confirmed to exist beneath the surface of the moon. These tubes are volcanic underground passages formed by flowing lava to funnel this substance. Once the flow stops, the tube remains with features similar to a cave. The discovery was made by a team of Japanese and American scientists who used data from the Selene and Grail spacecraft to acoustically map the enormous lava tube. The chasm is around 100 meters wide and 50 kilometers long and located in the Marius Hills region of the celestial body. It could provide shelter to astronauts during moon missions, protecting them from dangerous cosmic radiation. This could potentially allow for the development of a lunar exploration base. And that moon base, Homo sapiens, could very well lead to a human colony.
Earthlings will be treated to a supermoon this month. The biggest full moon of the 21st century so far will be visible on November 14th. The orbit of the moon is elliptical, which causes variations in the moon's apparent size in the eyes of an observer on Earth. The closest point of the moon's orbit to Earth is known as the perigee, and the farthest from Earth is known as the apogee. One complete revolution of the moon's orbit takes about 8.85 Earth years. The lunar phases shift as the moon changes its position relative to the sun and Earth. A full moon appears when it is in direct opposition to the sun and is completely illuminated as seen from Earth. A supermoon occurs when there is a full moon while it is at its closest point to Earth. A micromoon occurs when there is a full moon while it's at its farthest point from Earth. Supermoons generally appear 14% larger and 30% brighter than an average full moon. If you miss the supermoon on November 14th, there'll be another one on December 14th, although it will not appear to be as big. And if you miss both events, the next supermoon arrives in 2034.
Look who's going back to the moon. The Indian Space Research Organization has announced plans to send a rover to the moon early next year, nearly a decade after its first lunar journey met with mixed success. The spacecraft for India's Chandrayaan-2 moon mission is comprised of an orbiter, a lander, and a rover, which will first slingshot around Earth before going into lunar orbit. The lander will attempt a controlled or soft landing near the moon's south pole, while the orbiter travels around the moon. Once on the surface, the lander will take thermal measurements and deploy the six-wheeled rover to explore the lunar terrain. Among the things the mission will pay close attention to are abrasive particles known as lunar dust, which pose a significant challenge to human colonization of the moon. The Chandrayaan-2 will be carried into space by the GSLV Mark II rocket and is scheduled to launch from an island in the Bay of Bengal in March 2018. India will carry out the final testing phase for the spacecraft in the coming weeks. The program's budget for the mission is relatively small, at only $93 million. We're going back to the moon. Aerospace companies United Launch Alliance and Bigelow Aerospace are collaborating to put a space station in orbit around the moon. The Lunar Depot plan is aimed at placing a Bigelow B-330 inflatable habitat in low lunar orbit by the end of 2022. ULA's Vulcan rocket will launch the B-330 into lower Earth orbit, where it will stay for about a year. While there, the habitat will receive supplies and get crew members rotated every few months. 2 more Vulcan rockets will then be launched and their upper stages left in orbit. After propellant from one stage is transferred to the other, the fully fueled stage will attach the B-330 and propel it to its final position orbiting the moon. The companies claim the habitat can serve both as a platform for lunar business development and a location for NASA to conduct exploration and astronaut training missions.